it can be really hard to get out of the victim mentality, because when we take responsibility, at first it feels like shame. At first it feels like I am the reason why I don't have the results that I want, blah, 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 blah. You're listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, a business and mindset coach who specializes in imposter syndrome. If you feel like you're not as smart, capable, or worthy as you actually are, and that someone is going to find you out, then you've come to the right place. I went from being a struggling government worker, working my coaching business on the side, but feeling unworthy and burnt out, to making multiple six figures helping women overcome imposter syndrome so they too can sign clients, make bank, and have the business or career of their dreams. I am nothing special. I have a stuttering disability, ADHD, and I struggle with anxiety and depression. So if I can learn how to feel good enough and overcome my inner imposter, then so can you. Let's dig in. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. Before we dive into the episode today, though, I want to talk to you about coming to work with me in the From Imposter to Empowered program or the Fraud Squad Mastermind. If you are making between 0 to 3K a month, and you are still struggling with feeling like a fraud, of not feeling good enough, of feeling like you can't get your clients results, or you're afraid to sell because you don't know if you're going to be able to get them results, then the From Imposter to Empowered program is going to help you overcome that imposter syndrome, show up consistently on your social media, sell your offers with so much confidence, and bring in 5K a month as your bare fucking minimum monthly income. That is what we do inside of the From Imposter to Empowered program, and you are going to get in there and you're going to get coached by me and supported by me. There's also monthly calls that are for breath work and content planning parties, and you also get access to the full curriculum on your mindset, on the strategy that you need to hit the 5K a month goal that you have, the manifestation of creating everything that you want in your business. That is all going to be inside of the curriculum as well. You get access to my courses, the course on content, the course on sales, and the course on launching. This is going to be the program that is going to help you overcome imposter syndrome for good, so you can make those 5K bare minimum months in your business. And that is happening in the From Imposter to Empowered program. And you can join for only $333 a month for 6 months. Okay, so that is at the link in my show notes. You can join directly from the sales page. But if you are scaling to 10K plus months, if you are ready to expand your offer suite, if you are ready to step into the embodiment of the leader that you know that you are, if you want to be known for what you do in your niche, if you're ready to transcend imposter syndrome at that next level of visibility, of being more seen, of making your content more you, more spicy, more unfiltered, of really stepping into your power and stepping into those 10K plus income months, then you're going to want to join the Fraud Squad Mastermind. That is also at the link in my show notes. And with the Fraud Squad, you get 2 times a month hot seat coaching calls. You get access to an exclusive mastermind chat in Voxer. You also get the Fraud Squad curriculum, which is everything you need in terms of the mindset, the identity, and the strategy behind bringing in 10K plus months. And you also get, of course, access to all of my courses, the content course, the sales course, and the launch course. This is the only way that you are able to work with me in an intimate, high-level setting other than my one-to-one coaching. So, like I said, that is at the link in my show notes, and the investment to join for 4 months is $1,111 a month, or 4K pay in full. Okay, my loves? Yay! Okay, let's get into the episode today. So today's topic, was inspired by a conversation with a business friend in the DMs. And this friend is very well known in the online space. She's a fucking badass. She makes great money in her business. However, imposter syndrome is something that comes up a lot for her. And something that's associated heavily to her imposter syndrome is what I like to call the underdog syndrome. And it's this feeling of being underrated, of your potential not being seen or acknowledged by others, of feeling like you have to work harder than everyone else. That confidence is something you really have to work on. You see that others have it and are baffled by how easy everything seems to come to them. This is also connected to this feeling of like it works for everyone, but not for me, which is something that I used to have in my head for my entire life, even though a lot of the time things did work out for me. So it was this weird like duality where things would work out for me, but whenever I truly was like working towards something and I wanted something to happen, it's like it wouldn't happen because I was actually trying for it. So I developed this story of like everything works for everybody else, but not for me. Now, it may sound a bit contradictory that your potential isn't being seen by others, because I've said that when it comes to imposter syndrome, sometimes you question yourself and your potential and underestimate what you're capable of. But the thing here is that if others were to recognize the potential in you or give you attention or praise, they would actually be validating you. And it's not so much that someone sees your potential, but rather that you're being noticed and seen and validated. And that means that you would allow yourself to feel good enough for a moment until your baseline beliefs and thoughts about not being good enough resurface and you're looking for that validation again. The identity of being the underdog goes hand in hand with feeling like a victim. And yes, I said it. And sometimes people feel very victimized by their businesses. Not being a victim looks like taking full responsibility for yourself and your results, because let's be real, it feels good to evade responsibility for your life and your business, your results. There's a part of you that craves being pitied or being seen as the underdog, a part of you that doesn't want to take responsibility because you already have the idea that it's a lot of work to get the things that you want. And taking responsibility also feels a lot like shame. And I actually wrote about that in my best-selling self-published book, You're Not Special, which is on Amazon. And I talk about how like feeling responsible for the results in your life can feel very difficult, and therefore it can be really hard to get out of the like victim mentality, because when we take responsibility, at first it feels like shame. At first it feels like I am the reason why I don't have the results that I want, blah, 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 blah. So what do I mean by it feels good to evade responsibility? So let me give you an example. Back at the end of 2021, I was making some scaling business decisions, and the coach who I had at the time gave me some tough feedback, and I sulked around for weeks with the feedback that she gave me. And when I didn't get the result that I wanted, I actually silently blamed her. But that's because it would have felt really bad to take responsibility for the result. It was easier for me to say it was her fault because of the feedback that she gave me. And I was already anticipating it was going to feel bad if I took full responsibility, hence why it was so easy for me to be like, well, she shouldn't have told me to do that. Right? So this feels good to our ego to be righteous and to again evade responsibility because we want to feel good about ourselves. Hey guys, I hope you're loving today's episode. I am just taking a brief pause in today's episode to share with you a client testimonial. These testimonials are either from group coaching clients or clients who are in my one-to-one coaching program. And I can't wait for you to hear how I have changed their lives and their businesses for the better.
Doing this program and working with Jill has literally changed my life. Not only did I begin signing more clients in my business, but my thoughts and my mindset about life and business in general as a whole has completely shifted. I have been able to like step more out of my shell and just show up fully as myself. I've overcome a lot of shame that I've been holding on to for a very long time, and I learned how to run my business in my own way instead of feeling like I had to show up a certain way and do things a certain way.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Now let's get back to the episode. And if you are someone who automatically thinks these thoughts of things don't work for me, I'm the underdog, no one is seeing my potential, things are harder for me than for others, this is just an identity that you have cultivated. And I want you to really hear that like, that's it. It's not the truth. Just like your imposter syndrome thoughts, the I'm not good enough stories, they are not the truth. They are just what you perceive to be true. You may have always perceived yourself as the victim or as the underdog, as the person who doesn't get the things that she wants, as the one who should be seen as pitied, oh, poor you, right? Like, this is a story that you have potentially played out because it feels comfortable, but it is just an identity that is satisfying the beliefs that you have about yourself. So are you open to the fact that the story of things don't work out for me, I have to work harder than everyone else, people underestimate me? Are you open to acknowledging that this may be an identity and a story that keeps you safe? Because here's the thing, it is keeping you safe from disappointment. It was so funny because literally the day that I'm recording this, I was journaling on this. I was journaling on a goal that I am creating. It is an income goal. And every day I write how I'm feeling about it, and then I give the reason as to why I'm feeling that way. And then I think to myself, if I were a 10, what would I be thinking right now? And what came up for me through this journaling today was the fact that, like, I would be a 10 if I wasn't afraid of being disappointed, because that is what's stopping me from saying I'm a 10 in believing that this income goal is going to happen. It was the fear of being disappointed again that I don't have this goal, right? So whenever we are in this victim mode of things don't work out for me, blah, 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 I want you to like open yourself up to thinking, what is this keeping me safe from? If I were to take full responsibility, what would happen? What am I afraid of feeling? So it is keeping you safe from disappointment. When we expect more from ourselves, when we take responsibility, that means that we have to be responsible for everything. The negative feelings, the outcomes that don't go our way all the time. And this is where most of us get tripped up. The fear of giving our best and not getting the result that we want, the discomfort of asking ourselves, how did I play a part in this? That shit is not easy. It's so fucking hard. It is easier to sink back into old patterns of being the victim. It's easy to play out the same old story of things don't work out for me. This is just how it is. It's not my fault. And even if you are consciously being like, yes, I know I need to take responsibility, there could be a little bitty part of you back in the back of your brain being like, but it really isn't my fault. I would do this all the time with like Instagram. It would be like, I don't have the people, like I don't have the audience size to sign the amount of clients that I want to sign. And because I really did believe that, all the work I was doing and pretending like I was taking responsibility, but there was still that tiny little thing that I was thinking like, but it's not really up to me, because it really does have to do with my audience size. But like, what would be possible if I actually believe like you have enough people in your audience? What if it actually is you? What if it actually is your messaging? What if it actually is the way that you're showing up and the things that you're saying? And when I broke that open, that changed fucking everything, right? Because the truth is, under the underdog syndrome and the victim mentality, it is still imposter syndrome. I'm not enough. It's just a protective layer that hides a deeper wound, trying haphazardly to cover it up, but still believing deep down that it's you who's not good enough. And if that feels very painful to you, you're going to cover it up with things that you can blame and reasonings and circumstances and excuses, because you don't want to have to face the reality of, What if it's me who's not good enough, right? Like, this was something that I worked on with a client for months. Her income was increasing. She was hitting her goals, but the fear of being found out or the other shoe dropping became so much that she had constant anxiety and was overwhelmed all of the time. And this is because her victim/underdog identity was hitting up against the success, was hitting up against the evidence that she was getting. She was actively seeing success and hitting her goals, but it did not line up with the identity that she had of herself. So to rectify that, she just occupied herself with worrying that it was going to go away and that the other shoe was going to drop. So when she came to work with me, this work that we did together was on her identity, was upgrading her identity and seeing herself as this person that actually is capable, that actually deserves this success, that actually is doing all of the things that would lead to her success, and actually changing her identity and being that successful person, right? And dropping the victim mentality, dropping the feeling of like, I'm an underdog, right? And you can do this too. If you're listening to this, I know you have accomplishments to be proud of. I know that there are things you can be proud of yourself for doing, how you've achieved things over the past year, over the past month, over the past week. You can't only start acknowledging yourself when you accomplish big, huge goals. Like, the way you build the identity is by starting with right now. How is where you are right now something to celebrate? Where is the evidence in your life and or your business that you are becoming this successful version of yourself? What success will you allow yourself to hold today that is evidence that the empowered version of yourself is who you really are? And where can you accept responsibility for where you are without shame? Where can you see that you've been indulging in underdog syndrome or a victim mentality and take your power back? Answer this journal prompt, okay? I am ready to take responsibility for blank. And you can do this in business, you can do this with your personal life, with your relationships, anything that you are looking to change. So you can say, I am ready to take responsibility for my income. Because if you have a belief that like, I don't determine my income, my audience does, somebody reaching out does, what would it look like? What would you have to do to take responsibility for your income? It is only when you take ownership of the things in your life that you have the power to change them, that you believe you have the power to change them, right? Remember that taking responsibility isn't an opportunity to shame yourself. It is to take your power back. Remember that the victim mentality or underdog syndrome are patterns of behavior, are identities, stories that you've told yourself, an identity that just feels familiar. It does not have to be your truth. And it might feel good to indulge in these stories, but it will only take you farther away from your goals and the life that you're truly trying to live. This is the work, people. This is the work to truly up-level, to increase your income. And that is my spicy take for today, my friends. And I hope it has you landing on your own 2 feet and ready to take on the rest of June, ready to make the money that you know you want to make and fucking killing it in your business. And when you're ready to come and work with me, you can do that in the From Imposter to Empowered program or the Fraud Squad Mastermind. As a reminder, in the From Imposter to Empowered program, that is for you if you are making between 0 to 3K a month and you are ready to overcome imposter syndrome, show up confidently on your Instagram stories and on social media, sell your offers with confidence and do it consistently and make 5K a month in your business. If you are scaling into 10K plus months, you're stepping into the leader you know that you are. You want to be more seen and more visible and create spicy, unfiltered, authentic content to you that calls in clients. And again, you're scaling into those 10K plus months, you're going to want to join the Fraud Squad Mastermind, okay? So the links to those sales pages are at the link in my show notes. I love you guys so, so much, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much for listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. Head to the show notes to learn how you can work with me, where you can buy my best-selling book, You're Not Special, and how to get on my email list for free. Screenshot this episode and add it to your Instagram stories, tagging me at YourCoachJill. See you next time.